the way I go about every turkey that I hear gobble if I'm trying to kill them is checking their temperature.
Yeah, I like pitting them against each other too. I mean, I didn't really call much, just scratching in the leaves.
Another thing is it's the time of day on turkeys. Like the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. That's what I always say.
Let me ask you something. Turkey's kind of your thing, right? What do you find the most common situations you get stuck in turkey hunting? Um, Whether you got a bird hung up or whatever. And what would you say to people? Give them a piece of advice on how to get a weary bird or a bird that doesn't want to fully commit to kind of break and come in.
Yeah, well, I think the only problem with what you said is common. There's nothing common in the turkey woods. I feel like it's always, dude, I learn something new every time I go out there turkey hunting, and I think that's what's cool about it, honestly. But dude, yeah, every time you think you have turkeys figured out, it's just they just throw you another curveball, and it's. But honestly, I think one of the most common things you said it is a hung up turkey, and I think growing up is in the South, turkey hunting's. I mean, it's a cult down here in this West Alabama, Mississippi area, and it's everyone and their brother does it. So I grew up in it, and I grew up spooking a lot of turkeys. My dad turkey hunted some, but he wasn't really, he wasn't about it all the time, and so he would drop me off in the mornings, and in the afternoon, my grandpa would pick me up or something, and that was me as a 11, 12-year-old kid. So man, I spooked a lot of turkeys and ruined a lot of turkey hunts, but I learned a lot. But yeah, I think I don't know, man. I learned something new every day with them.
Yeah,
I know how you get them in.
this ought to be good.
You know how you do. You just show them that fan, man. You just pick
Hey,
that fan up.
to each his own.
You just give them a little bit of that fan, man.
That's pretty much the extent of birds turkey hunting at this point.
Yeah, if they want to stay there, I just throw that old fan up. I'll go to you then.
Uh, I think the one thing I learned it was Graham. It was with the first time you came out to hunt. We had that bird that I killed that was hung up. He would not move for 2 hours. We
Stay
just
in the same freaking spot.
we found a way to sneak around and got like with close enough to either in his bubble or close enough to his bubble that I mean I didn't really call much, just scratching in the leaves until he can't take it no more. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
I couldn't take
silence is
that.
deadlier than anything.
Every
Yeah,
turkey's a little
that's
different,
true.
though. Like,
And
I
let
mean,
me,
you have some that'll run in there and just die, commit suicide, and then you got others that they're not leaving that ridge top, like no matter what. And then you got some that'll just stick their head out in the field, look at your decoys, and they're just like, not interested in it. They're just all a little different.
Yeah, I think you kind of talked about getting in this bubble. That's one thing for me that I've killed a lot of turkeys, and I also passed on like if you have two different turkeys, for instance, the way I go about every turkey that I hear gobble if I'm trying to kill them is checking their temperature. Whatever, whether it's a cold or whether it's hot. A lot of times, if you have two different birds, even if one's 300 yards from you and one's half a mile from you, if one of them's temperature's hot, then that's the one you need to try to go after right then. And then if you have a bird that its temperature isn't hot, we have a little YouTube channel we do on YouTube. It's more or less just I love video and stuff, and it's a place I can put hunts. But I killed a bird out here on our farm on opening day, and it was we came out here. It was pouring down rain, and when we saw the turkey up on a gas line, and he was just kind of standing there, hunkered down in the rain, and young Logan would have taken off after him and tried to kill him right then, but he just wasn't. His temperature wasn't right then. We didn't even get out of the truck, and we were like, let's just let the sun come out, and sure enough, whenever probably about 10 o'clock that morning, the sun came out and all the birds started chirping and we slipped up there and yelped one time and he gobbled and then he was hot. So it's, especially if it's a property you own or you're the only person accessing it, not, public land, we're getting into a different ball game. But if it's some private piece that you have and, you go out there on Monday morning and he gobbles on the limb a couple times, but then shuts up and just kind of plays that game. It's more or less if you have Tuesday and Wednesday off, let's just pump the brakes a little bit and not try to make him fly to the neighbors, and yeah, kind of I think being patient more than just patience while you're hunting them, patience and when you hunt them, I think can play a big role, similar to deer too, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I like pitting them against each other too. If you got two separate birds
Yeah.
and one's closer, he's like 100 yards, but he won't break, and you got one at like 400 yards, it's just hammering. It's like, all right, I'm gonna call it the one at 400 yards, and he's either gonna come in, or the one that's 100 is gonna get nervous, and he's gonna start coming in.
A
Yep.
lot of times they'll come in quiet like that. The one will just sneak in, and
Yeah,
a lot of another thing is the time of day on turkeys. Like we can hunt them all day. Some states you can't hunt them after 1 o'clock or whatever, but we can hunt all day. And a lot of times, right, like the off the roost is fun because they're all gobbling. It's a lot of action. But I kill a lot of turkeys from 10 to 2. Like
yeah.
they bred the hen in the morning. They gobbled, they answered, and then all of a sudden, about 10 o'clock, you hear one shout. And that one's red. Like you said, that temperature, he's doing it on his own. He's ready.
Right.
He's looking, and I've had a lot of success calling them in the afternoons and getting them alone. Man, a lot of times you gotta get them. If they're by themselves, they're very susceptible. If they got
Hmm.
5 hens, it's dang near impossible to get them to come to decoys.
I would say 10 to 2 would be if I could pick a slot of hours in the day, just give me that one. Y'all gonna have the others.
Yeah, it's cool to hear them in the morning. But working a bird, like the sun's up and the sun's out and shining, and it's more fun. I mean, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. That's what I always say.
Where'd you come up with that one?
That's why I go turkey hunt about 9 a.m. Man, I'll be at the Waffle House at first light if you
That's
need me.
that's 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 why Abbott said he wants to go hunt with Jay, so that way he can sleep in and go to Waffle House.
Yeah, we'll go to the
Yeah.
Waffle Hut first, and then you got 3 bathroom breaks before we get to the farm.
Now, do you hunt with decoys, or are you like like, it doesn't matter, or are you one of the guys that's like, always got
uh,
to set up decoy?
no, I'm not. I know you talked about fanning earlier, so you kind of know how I feel about that already. But the
But that's a Trojan horse, man.
yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never done it, but it's yeah, I think it's just the game you want to play. I'm not sitting here condoning decoys or no decoys or fanning or not fanning. It's just you know, uh, personally, if I'm going to hunt a bird out here, I'm not going to be using a decoy just because the game I like to play is a vocal kind of chess match about who's going to come to who kind of situation, and I kind of like that game, the calling aspect of it, and playing that cat and mouse version. But now, especially if I'm taking a kid, if I'm taking my wife or someone who not very, probably not going to swing and shoot a turkey that's coming behind them, or they try to skirt you. I think that for me, it makes it a lot easier when I can say, hey, this you're going to shoot him in this window right here, and those instances I will use decoys, but personally, if I'm shooting, I'm not using a decoy. But again, like for instance, me and my wife were out and she's loves turkey hunting, deer hunting, killed deer with a bow and several turkeys, and but we were out in Texas this year and it was tough. I don't know why. It was just same ranch 2 years ago. We you know limited out very early and kind of wish we would have slowed down a little bit, but this past year was just kind of different. And so it was the last afternoon. We knew where this turkey was going to roost, and it was more like they weren't really gobbling. They were henned up. It was just kind of we were going to have to deer hunt this bird, and this little sonderos kind of made a cross, and we watched him skirt us that morning going down one of them, and kind of left. And Texas, I don't know if you ever turkey hunted out there, or anywhere in the out west where there's not many roost trees. Wherever the roost tree is, it looks like a chicken coop under it because there's just not many big trees for him to roost in. And this we knew exactly where he was roosting, and so we're probably 200 yards from where he's actually roosting, but we were sitting at the tee of those senderos where we knew that flock of turkeys was coming down that afternoon, most likely. And we got in there, I don't know, 3 hours before we figured they'd come through there, and we just been camping out, and it was probably about, I don't know, 30 minutes to 45 minutes before we probably should see him coming down that sendero, and she just looked at me. She was like, "It just don't feel right." And I was like, "What you mean?" She was like, uh, she's killed several turkeys. She was like, I just feel like this ain't how we're supposed to kill him. And I was like, hey, one, wish you would have told me about 3 hours ago. uh, but yeah, also, dude, I was so fired up to hear her say that because it was like you get it, like that's my wife and she understands like why we do it, We're not like I had zero trouble shooting this turkey the way we were just because the week was hard and it was kind of it's not like we got out there and sat over a cornfield or something, but we had studied and knew where this bird was, and so in my mind like we did our homework and 3 days of finally figuring out how to kill this turkey, we were going to kill him, and but she looked at me, she was like, "This isn't how I want to kill him," so I was like, "That's really
Yeah,
cool," and
that's like deer hunting
so
one right there.
right, and so we
Yeah.
got up and we went and tried to strike him, and we almost killed him. We struck him again. We struck him exactly where I thought he would be coming from, and almost caught him up, but he kind of skirted us. But it was just one. It was a really cool moment to see that she obviously she don't turkey hunt as much as I do, but she's been in it a while and she kind of understood like kind of the game that we like to play. So that was neat.
I like tricking them. I strutter crawled a couple. It's like we see a bunch from the cabin at the farm. Ask Jay. He went out and listened to birds one morning on his way back from work, and he left his Yeti cup in the driveway right in front of the cabin, and there was like 3 or 4 of them doing circles, strutting around his freaking Yeti cup in the driveway. Like I could tag out every year sitting on the front porch of my cabin. Everyone's like, "Well, why don't you shoot them?" I'm like, "Well, if I started shooting them here, they wouldn't be here, would they?" And like I don't, that's cheating. I did it once just to say I did it, and then I was like, "All right, that's it. I've had enough of that."
Hmm.
It's just whatever you want to do, man. Like, how do you want to kill them? We can go call them in, or we can like, if you've already, if you're mad at, how mad are you at them? Because we can go get that one right now. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can. That's how easy it is. Like, it's pretty easy to strutter one. I mean,
Right.
how Abbott got 2 shots in the morning. Like, he shot and missed one, and then we went and I was like, well, there's one. We drove that past the farm I can hunt, and there's one out there in the cattle pasture with a hen. I said, you want to kill him? Because we had to get to your crawfish thing. I was like, if we kill him in about 20 minutes, if he's going to do it. And we didn't necessarily strutter him. We got into his bubble before he knew we were there because he's with a hen, and he started gobbling. And then I called, and there's a fence, a cattle fence between us, and he was just hanging up, and I just pulled that thing out and just flash it through the woods a few times, and they come right to it. They can't handle it. They ain't seen it enough. It's just like the first time the Mojo spinning wing decoy came out on ducks. Like, it was poison, man. Like you could be standing next to it and shoot a duck on it. When that
Yeah,
big old poof, 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 it looks dumb as could be, man, when it first came out, and you could just you catch them with a fishing net. Now a Mojo, they kind of go away from it.
yeah, there's like again, like I said before, I don't, I'm not sitting here condoning people who use them. What you said is perfect. Like however you want to do it, I think everybody has the right to. If a 30-year-old man wants to shoot a crossbow, so be it. That's what gets his heart racing, and then that's awesome. Same with shooting a deer. If I have, for instance, we had a good deer out here this year we were watching. We've watched him for 3 years now, and he's probably mid 130s, 10 point now, which for down here is great. And I have him at rough, probably 4.5. Is what I'm thinking. So hoping to give him 5.5. And if someone killed him at 2.5 years old as a basket rack 10 point, and that's what got him going, then who am I to say they were wrong? So uh, I think as hunters, we kind of, I don't know. I feel like we jump on each other too much, where they're oh, you didn't kill that deer on public land, or you didn't kill that turkey on public. You're not really doing it. Uh, for same down here, we can shoot a deer over a corn feeder, and I have zero problem doing that. But there are people who, even down here in South Mississippi, that don't do it. And again, that's their game they want to play. And same deal. I don't think it's fair for them to come after me or whoever for shooting one over a feeder. It's kind of, how do you want to do
Each
it?
each to their own, right? As long as it's within the legal means. At the
100%.
end of the
Yeah.
day, what's it matter?
Ain't looking